really the amount involved will be so high, and a mistake, small mistake committed by you may land not only your customer but even yourself into great financial difficulty. So this is a very serious consequence which follows as a result of the change of status from that of an agent to that of a customs broker. Another aspect which also deserves to be kept in mind is what is the object of law? The object of the law, generally speaking, is to regulate the behavior of an individual, regulate the activities carried on by him, and also to collect revenue for the state. Tax laws, as you know, are meant for that purpose. And we are really concerned, as you are concerned with it, concerned with the collection of tax or collection of duties on the export and import business. Now, while performing your role as a customs broker, you are required to deal with this law. Earlier, you see, there were dalals who merely used to fill in the forms on behalf of the customer for the purpose of clearance of goods. There were muqaddams who were dealing with transportation of goods. Thereafter, as agents, a bigger role was performed by you, and you were acting as an agent, but at the same time, you had a larger responsibility than an agent under the general law, because under the Customs Act, the liability of the agent was more. Now you have reached a stage where you are to be treated as a customs broker. There are some functions which you have to perform which attracts a greater liability. Say, for example, your liability as a deemed owner of the goods. The law creates a fiction that even though you are merely an agent, under the general law you may not be liable. But because of this fiction, you will be deemed as an owner of the goods, and you can be held responsible for any misdeclaration of the goods in the relevant documents. Now your liability will become more as a result of another provision which has been added, and that is Section 17, which deals with assessment of duty. Earlier, you were required to go before the customs officer, present the documents, and the customs officer would assess the duty payable on the goods. Now, as a result of the self-assessment procedure, what the customs officer was doing will be required to be done by you. And that increases your responsibilities to a very great extent. because any misdescription with the consequences which I pointed out earlier may bring about financial ruin not only to the customer but also to you also. Earlier, you presented a document, the custom officer assessed the duty, the customer paid the duty. It was all over. Suppose it was found that no, it was not correctly assessed, then the only consequence was payment of higher duty. But now, as a result of self-assessment procedure, it will not be merely increased duty which the customer or you may have to pay, but you will be open to the higher punishment, namely payment of fine also, or payment of penalty as it is called. Therefore, because of this new provision, the new liabilities and responsibilities arising therefrom, it has become now necessary that the customs broker with their higher status also become able to discharge that function. If you do not acquire that ability, then it may be that the customer may throw you out and you will be out of business. It will be a highly competitive business where competent persons are required because the stakes are very, very high. It is all right in case of a small customer where the amount of duty is going to be very small. But what will happen if you commit a small mistake in respect of a very, very large and valuable consignment? You will put the customer to a loss of a huge amount. And that will bring some disappointment for you because it is quite likely that you may be changed. So keeping this in mind, the next question that you shall have to consider is what can be done about it. Something will have to be done by you, something may have to be done by the federation, and something may have to be done by the government. So far as the government is concerned, the only thing that can be done is making a representation to the government to amend the provision suitably. Say, for example, the proviso in the punishment provision. If the amount of duty cannot be recovered because of higher duty because of misdescription cannot be recovered from the customer, it can be recovered from you, from the customs broker. A representation can be made and possibly the government may even consider it favorably that such a harsh provision should not be there because after all you are a broker. Merely because the duty cannot be recovered from the customer, it would be unfair, not equitable to recover the amount of duty from you. Imagine a big consignment having been imported into India where a huge amount of duty is required to be paid, crores and crores. Initially, you pay a smaller duty, but later on, you come to know that you have to discharge a very heavy financial burden. What will happen? the customer may have to go out of business. You may have to go out of business. Therefore, the first thing that is required to be done is to see that the law is properly amended so that the liability of the brokers is limited. And it would be fair for this reason that you can be punished for your acts if you have acted bona fide. If you have not deliberately misdescribed the goods, if there is no intention to defraud, then there is no reason why a customs broker should be made punishable for that and should be asked to pay that amount. So fairness in law is necessary, and on that basis, the Federation can certainly make a representation to the government to that effect. So far as you are concerned, some sort of training will be necessary. The reason is that you do not have to merely look at the provision and say that these goods fall under this entry. Reading the entry and then preparing a document may not be sufficient. You will have to understand what exactly is the correct description of the goods. You will have to go a step beyond and also consider how this particular entry can be interpreted in a proper manner. It is not merely reading the entry, but interpreting it also will be your function. To acquire that ability, knowledge of law will be required, and therefore you will have to train yourself in some manner. You can do it yourself. It may not be possible for all of you to do yourselves, but in that case, a government in consultation with the Federation can prepare a course. Some institution can be given the role of conducting something like a test and give you certificates. And on the basis of such qualification, not only you can get a license, but also you become able to work as a customs broker as expected by the new provisions of law. In fact, I am of the view that unless some mechanism whereby this training can be imparted to you is set up, it will be difficult for all the members of the Federation to reach the desired level of competency to deal with the two aspects which arise as a result of the change in law. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. In fact, we thank you for your valuable presence and your time here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to invite Mr. Pankaj Mehta to present the vote of thanks. I'm so sorry, my apologies. Mr. Pankaj Shah to present the vote of thanks.
Good evening. Sir, if anyone has questions on the presentations, I mean, couple of questions we can take because still time permits us. If you have anyone, just get the mic, please.
My name is Krishnan. I have a question to Justice. You talk about the self-assessment, the liabilities of the brokers. We represent to the board for the relaxation that our role is very minimized on this and we should not be penalized. If the request is not considered by the department, is there any chance that we can challenge in the court of law so that we will get a remedy out of it?
Of course, you can challenge it on the ground that it is unreasonable to have such a provision. But nobody can be sure about the result or the outcome of that litigation. But certainly you can say that this is highly unfair and the provision is not reasonable.
Now, with your experience, I wanted to know whether it's really possible that any good result will come. Maybe.
Why not, you see?
Yeah.
Anyone? So, on behalf of FFAI, Executive Committee member, and all the delegates, sir, I offer my gratitude thanks to Honorable Justice Nanavati for gracing this occasion and sharing his valuable thoughts and experience with us. We are indebted to Justice Nanavati for his advice and taking out a time for all of us in giving us this speech. We are also honored with his presence over here in the dais and being a chief guest on this occasion. Sir, we have to learn a lot from you and with your experience. We will continue to draw from you your wisdom and advice. Sir, we have a very appreciately summarized the legal challenges before all of us and manage in which such challenges can be handled in the future. Sir, we are sure that the August gathering must have understood the broader colors of the legal challenges and their possible resolutions from your speech. On the issue of risk factor creating by the introduction of a self-assessment regime, I personally and also on behalf of FFAI thanks Justice Nanavati for highlighting the important and crucial aspects which need to be factored in by my fellow brothers and the community as a whole while interacting with the client and their customs house. Sir, we feel a sense of pride and honor for having you with us. As a mark of respect for you in person and contribution you have made to public, which inspired us trust and respect for the judiciary as an institution. We bow and stand to the deep respects and gratitude to you, sir. my gracious thanks to Mr. Shashikaran Shetty for his making a freight forwarder industry a next generation will definitely make him like a mentor for being a freight forwarders in our industry. I mean, his contribution to freight forwarding industry is very much. Sir, we thank you very much for your gracious presence. Lastly, my thanks to Mr. Adil Malia, who has really redefined our vision in a freight forwarding. What should we do for our, I mean, how to achieve our goal and how to achieve our standard. Sir, we thank you very much for your presence. Once again, I thanks all of you and all our participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pankaj Shah. Ladies and gentlemen, before we call it a wrap to this wonderful knowledge session, we'd like to thank certain people over here. But firstly, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank the name who inspired us this evening and who keeps inspiring a lot of entrepreneurs and is also the lead sponsor for the 21st Biennial Convention. I now request Justice G.T. Nanavati to please present a memento to Mr. Shashikaran Shetty, Chairman of Asha Group. We'd further like to thank our knowledge session that has been sponsored by Air India SATS Airport Services Private Limited. May I please invite Mr. Vinod Chaudhary to please come on stage and present a memento to Air India SATS Airport Services Private Limited for being the knowledge session sponsor. While we do believe that a beautiful evening awaits all of you, we'd also like to thank our cocktail sponsor and our dinner sponsor. The cocktail sponsor for this evening is APM Terminal Pipavav. So I'd like to invite Mr. Sameer Shah to please come on stage and present a memento to APM Terminal Pipavav for being the cocktail sponsor for this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a warm round of applause because very soon we're going to be enjoying this lovely evening with cocktails and dinner. The dinner sponsor for this evening is Mediterranean Shipping Company Private Limited. So I'd like to invite Mr. Praveen Kanakia to please come on stage and present the memento to Mediterranean Shipping Company Private Limited for being the dinner sponsor for this evening. May I please invite a representative from MSC to please come on stage to collect the memento. Looks like they're busy gearing up for the dinner preparations for all of us this evening. So with that, we'd like to move on. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another huge round of applause as we come to the end of this wonderful knowledge session, as well as the Golden Jubilee concluding function. Let's have a round of applause once again for our honorable dignitaries here for having graced the occasion. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sure.
with the permission of the chairman, I would like to formally announce the conclusion of the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the Federation of Freight Forwarders Associates in India. Gentlemen, it's been a wonderful golden year, and we had a golden president with amazing leadership capability and tremendous initiative in changing over the existing freight forwarding fraternity into a totally new path. Shantanu and team FFI, wonderful, wonderful show. Congratulations. And with this, it marks the close of the Golden Jubilee celebrations. And tomorrow onwards, it's the next 50 years of Federation of Freight Forwarders Associations in India. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kurian. So yes, while we do conclude the Golden Jubilee function for this evening, it's time to begin another wonderful evening right here, as we'll be back with the entertainment over network and networking over cocktails and dinner. But before that, once again, I'd like to thank our honorable dignitaries. Thank you very much, sir. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's now time to get up for a very entertaining evening in store for all of you. We're going to be serving the cocktails and snacks very soon. And behold, I'm sure all of you have already seen the wonderful setup over here, a thematic setup here. So please don't go away. We'll be back soon, just in a minute. Thank you.